When?
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 When for really?
When?
Now?
Now.
What time now?
Right now.
Right now.
Only now.
When?
Now.
Again?
Now.
Now.
When?
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 For really? When?
When? Where?
Where?
Here.
Where?
Here.
Here, where?
Right here.
Right here, where? Freely, where?
Here. Here. Freedom here. Right now. Right here. Where? Where? Here.
Right now, here, where? Here.
Right here.
Okay. You say so.
Why?
It's so right.
Why for really?
Why?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not is good.
Why not?
Why not?
Really, why not?
Why not?
Why not?
Oh my God! Let me see. Did I do that? Where?
Yes.
Here.
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 I forgot. I want to do this. Where? Really? Where? Really?
Freedom. Right here.
Yeah.
Upside down. Upside down.
Oh.
You, us, me, we.
You. Us.
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 We.
We. Freely. Freely.
Us. We.
Us.
Freedom. Who needs it? We need it.
How about me? How freely? How?
Emancipate yourself. Emancipate yourself from the mental slavery. Emancipate yourself.
Okay. Right. Woo! ありがとうございました。
Next, we will read Noriko Wako's contribution to the event. She's in Japan. She could not come. She sent a poem. Noriko and Sinai did a lot of art projects together in New York when Noriko was in New York. Sinai will read the Japanese original poem. I will read the translation. Tenyo, the Celestial Maiden by Noriko Wako.
広大で深遠な無限の宇宙、宇宙の小さな小さな一つの星、地球。
The vast and profound infinite universe, a small little star in the universe, Earth.
ある日突然、生き物が海の中で弾けた。かけがえのない生き物の一つ。
Suddenly, one day, creatures in the sea popped one of the irreplaceable creatures.
人類、その歴史はなぜか愚かにも憎悪と殺戮の連鎖を繰り返す。
Human race, its history is for some reason stupidly repeating the chain of hatred and slaughter.
ある日、突然、天女が舞い降りた。人類にそっくりな姿をして。
Suddenly, one day, the celestial maiden flew down. It looks just like humankind.
なすすべもなく、絶望の淵でさまよう人類が、天女の慈愛あふれる清らかな舞に魅せられて、うつろな目は希望に輝き、満ちあふれ。
People wandering in the depths of despair without any help, fascinated by the benevolent and pure dance of the celestial maiden. Hollow eyes shine with hope.
天女に触れると、鉄のように冷たく硬くなった体が一瞬にして温かく柔らかに心の奥の奥までも温めた。
When you touch the celestial maiden, a body that is cold and hard like iron, instantly is warm and soft. It warms the depths of your heart.
暗く凍てつくような阿鼻叫喚のダークな世界。
The underworld of screaming annoyance that seems to freeze in dark.
グラデーションを描くように、
Like drawing a gradation,
次第次第に歓喜にあふれ、光り輝くオレンジ色の世界を出現させる。
gradually a joyous and brilliant orange world emerges.
ちっぽけな地球で強愛な人類世界が絡み合う。
On a tiny earth, the narrow human world is intertwined.
宗教、人種、国家、イデオロギーなどとは全く異なる異想空間。
Topological space, completely different from religion, race, nation, and ideology.
新たな時空づくり、
Creating a new space-time.
浄化、心直し、世直し。
Purification, reboot your mind, recreate the world.
Arigato, thank you.
どうもありがとうございます。
So beautiful. Are you Japanese too? Yeah. So the
Stand down, spin.
folks.
Hi. Hello.
My name's Elliot. I'll be your tour guide today. Well, folks, as you can see, Lady Liberty is taking a nap. It happens. About every 2 weeks, Lady Liberty takes a nap. She's a sound sleeper and we never wake her up. So, I'm sorry, but you'll have to chat with Lady Liberty at another time and ask her your questions on another day. But of course, your reservations are good forever. Liberty is forever. There are no exceptions since the Great Liberation of 2025. A few words before you go, if I may. When you return with your questions, the first thing you will notice is that she still has a French accent. She's French, of course. But you may not know that her bones were designed by a French engineer named Eiffel, who went on to build the Eiffel Tower. Lady Liberty's life wasn't always as easy as you can see it is today. She thought she was home when she first stood up on the streets of Paris and looked around. There she is in Paris. You can see she's still got her fresh copper skin. When she arrived in New York, however, there was nowhere for her to stand. No pedestal in the harbor. Typical of the politics of the time before the Great Liberation, everyone expected everybody else to do the work and pay for the pedestal to be built. Lady Liberty went from being an object of admiration in Paris to putting out her hand for money in Washington Square Park. As everyone knows, after the Great Liberation, Lady Liberty stepped down from her pedestal. As she will tell you, the thing she missed most, standing in the harbor for 150 years, welcoming 12 million immigrants to America, immigrants like herself, the thing she missed most was trees and growing things. And now, with those dark days finally behind us, the days of war and hunger and want, the days of strife before the Great Liberation, now she's decided to take things easy, as you can see. She now works only part-time and appears in the harbor only when the weather is sunny. The rest of the time you will find her in one of New York City's 1,700 parks. She plans to visit them all, with the last one on her tour a return to Madison Square Park. She jokes that she'd like to look around this time. Each year, a tree is planted in her honor in 190 countries around the world. Lady Liberty's last official duty was celebrating the Great Liberation of 2025 and the end of war. The video of that event got 9 billion views on YouTube. An immortal symbol of liberation. She never wavered, never doubted. So, on behalf of Lady Liberty and myself, I'd like to thank you for coming out today, and we look forward to you all visiting again soon. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ayako Furukawa Leonard, and I'm a, how can I say, the painter. And this is actually the first time for me to do performance in front of the public. So let me begin my work, the freedom tied with red thread. Connected to your heart. Oh, maybe. I know. How about him?
How about him?
Right.
How about him?
Oh, sure. Maybe I should. Sorry, that one's damaged.
free, 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 free. Come, Mama, come in here. Come.
I must go down and move. Take care, yes.
Look later on, I can hear. Yeah, thanks. Bravo!
Maybe you get that extra.
I get the extra? I get the extra, okay. I'll take it. I'll take all the freedom I can get.
Yeah.
Free of nuts.
Free at last? Somebody said free at last.
Yeah, no, so, but we might do it more than once. It might be what I was thinking. But, you know, until it is the time that I was going to say,
It's an installation.
well, as far as our work together now, yes, so this is the kind of thing that you'll start. You see it right now. In about 20 minutes, so it's going to start looking at 25, something like that.
Flaquita, how you get so much freedom over there?
I got it all.
We might continue with other things. There might be other people doing other things.
We're gonna have to stand
All
up.
kinds of things are going on.
Out, want me to stand up?
And it's very important.
One piece down.
Yes, did it.
So connect yourself with the nature and acknowledge where we are from, and probably cherishing the nature will make the true freedom come true to us. So let's have meditation for a short while together. So you can close your eyes or whatever, but just feel togetherness. Thank you so much. Thank you. You had extra blessing.
I'll hold on to it till you come around again.
Thank you. Oh yes, that's right. Oh, connected to our liberty.
Very nice.
Yes.
はい、夏子さんはご存知ですね。
ひでこです。はい。見たのいや恥ずかしい。お疲れ様でした。よかった。すごく面白かった。なかなかいいパフォーマンスね。だんだんここに繋がってきてるのちょっとね。いい感じ。8だから。8？そうなんだ。あ、そうなんだ。あれは怖いのよ、トナプンじゃないの。ブーンとくるやつ、大きなミツバチだ。なんだっけ、大きなミツバチの。なんかあの人たち縄張りしたのかな、知らないからその時と2回はねワーニングするのバーンって来て2回3回目もパチッと知らないからうるさいねちゃんとそのてか前も昔だよねそう大悟ちゃんがね純ちゃんの話をすごく純ちゃんもすごい可愛くて高青年だったけど私からしたらまだね、そう私からしたら孫意地のがつける子多い
Thank you, everyone, for coming today. That was Ayako, and we thank her for her beautiful presentation with the red string. And thank you to Morningside Park and all of the people who helped the performers and all of the people who helped do the advertising, and thanks to the sun for coming out. Yes, thank you all for coming. Feel free to tell your friends what happened here, take a picture, and tell people that nice things are going on in the parks. The next performer who's setting up right now is Hisayasu Takashio, and there's his son behind him, and there's his daughter Hono over there. They're very talented performers, but their schedules did not permit for them to perform today. They're exhausted from recent performances all over the world. But today we have the pleasure of their father, Hisayasu Takashio. He's going to do some music and sculpture event, and there are still more performances after that. What else can I say? Does anybody have any questions? Frank.
When is Lady Liberty scheduled to leave us?
Lady Liberty is scheduled to leave us apparently on the 22nd of this month, April 22nd, but I was also told maybe it'll be a little bit later, but I think within the month. And she's supposedly going to Liberty State Park in New Jersey. And from there, she may go to Pennsylvania. That's also in the works. And from there, I think she might get to live there forever. That's what some people in Pennsylvania are trying to get her to do. She'll still perhaps do her duty in the water, where she's been in the water for a long time. But she'll also be laying down in Pennsylvania. I guess it's sort of an early retirement or just a vacation is the way I like to think of it. So, Takashio, do you need a couple more minutes?
No, I'm ready.
You're ready. Okay, great. Do you need this over there? Turn it on or off? Off. And now, Takashio.
Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much.
I'm not sleeping. Wait a minute.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
You got me?
Thank you. Can you take a picture?
Hello? Okay, there we go. Thank you for the advice on how to make this work. Thank you, Hisayasu Takashio.
Thank you.
Woo! Yeah. Great music and sculpture event. Again, thanks to everybody who's here. And the next person who's going to perform, I believe, is Frank. Is that correct? Frank Craven, the amazing visual artist and musician and activist. Recently back from a show in Oaxaca, Mexico, and a neighborhood resident. And here he goes. And there's much more to come after this. So try to get comfortable. Be very careful. Some people have slipped and fallen. It is a little precarious there. So Frank is getting set up. And did you have something to say, Hono? Okay. And thanks for all
guess what? She just told me to share my art. I'm sharing my art and some of my books. Oh, wait a second. I was going to take a nap and just sort of hang out and read my poetry. Oh, this is a painting I did called Fear of Morn, Airborne Germs. Oh, well. Oh, my God. But I'm not afraid of them. I wrote this book. Yeshua said to me, hey, what do you think she's saying to you? So I have a book, Poetry for 24 Hours, that's out there for 20 years it took me to write. So I've read that. It has lots of good stuff in it. But I wrote a new book, hey, it's on Amazon, called Uncle Sam's Spam. So I'm really excited about it. I figure I'm going to hang out with old Lady Liberty and read it. I truly enjoy this stuff. Now, wait a second. What's that? Oh, she's telling me that my poetry is pretty good, and she's glad that I got inspired by her to recite this new poem. I'm not going to read the whole book, don't worry about it. But the last poem I'd like to share with you is called Defeat the Mandates. Woo! All right, thank you. Some of you may or may not agree with me about defeating the mandates, but I got news for you. Lady Liberty wants constitutional rights and freedom and justice for all, and that's why America is so great. We're Chinese and African and Latin American and Polish and Russian and Ukrainian. We're all American, and it's about freedom. So, what's that? Oh yeah, she said, please don't forget to give out samples of your work to people, so go ahead. You get to have a little gift if you want. You know, this is a nice little tidy package she told me to put together for y'all and have fun with that. And you can look at them later, not now. I'm right here, so you don't need to open it up now. Take it home with you, and then later on you'll be surprised and happy with what I'm offering you, or Lady Liberty's offering you, or whoever might be interested. Now, of course, you may not be interested, and if you are, that's great. And I tell you what, that's what it's all about, whether or not you're interested. Hopefully, I find my little performance interesting, and if not, that's okay too. Because, hell, we're trying to have fun here, right?
Yeah.
Am I have that thing?
Yeah.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Well, thank God for that. Guess what? Can you hear me now?
Better.
Is there a difference?
Yeah.
Is there a difference between this and that?
Yeah.
I don't really need it, do I?
It helps.
For you,
Well, I'm going to listen to what the lady here says because she helps me figure things out. And she said, I don't need it. All right, folks, this is from Uncle Sam's Spam by FrankCraven.com. Thank you, Orrin Buck, for making FrankCraven.com work. He's a webmaster, and he's helping me. And thank you, Michelle Donnells, for helping me. Anyway, thank you, Lady Liberty. Oh, I love you. She's helping me. So take it or leave it, folks. Here it goes. This is a new poem I just wrote. I hope you like it. And if you don't, that's okay, too. How can we defeat the mandates? We the people must contemplate some strange evil. Stop the mandates. A nasty rule by cruel sadists that pricks us all like some rapists, shoving poison into our veins. I scream, stop, son, this is insane. But media spin screams right back. Brainwash zombie spin, take the jab. Despite frontline doctors' speech or God's design, pastors preach. Legal jargon arguments cannot bargain nor make sense. To the big boss, king of hate, laughs at a loss. Oh, Bill Gates downsize the herd, he complains. This is absurd, he's insane. A bloody tyrant calling the shots. Racist violence, no Steve Jobs. Profit from bugs, new upgrades. Now it's all drugs that he trades. Arrest that fool, he's at large. In some yacht pool or cool barge. Share his fortune, far and wide, every portion, tan as hide. Buy low, sell high is the game for apple pie, USA. But mega wealth won't explain sudden bad health with much pain. Is our Lady Liberty torch now a shaky tyranny scorch that burns for hell damnation, a witchcraft's spell sensation? Where's justice and the real truth? TV says, trust us, stay home, don't move. No dancing, no hugs are allowed. Lock down nightclubs, no church crowd. Close up the shops, even the schools. No mom and pops can break the rules, but liquor stores can make a stink. The big bank whores need booze to drink. Play golf and fart is quite all right. Shop at Walmart. Hey, the rest, just hang tight. Until you're jabbed by our crew, the poison stab secret brew. Don't data release in 50 years. We'll rest in peace all your tears. The doubts will cease, so will the fears. The world's deceased, the blobs will cheer. Cheer for champagne, the finest brand. No one complains across the land. Everyone's dead, except the rich. Elon Musk's head has a great itch. To put a chip inside our heads, a new bullwhip to steer the kids, left or right, up or down. Go and fight for the crown. Hold the fort, work like an ass. Just report, don't give me sass. Help God, Mother Mary. It's strange and odd, it's rather scary. How can Jeff Bezos be a trillionaire? Where is Lord Jesus? For those who don't care about the homeless, refugees, humble, modest, on bended knee, land of milk and honey, lost horizon. Just for those with money can buy some. Freedom and justice, peace of mind. The rest get busted, mute and blind. Defeat the mandates, a clarion call. Stop all the debates, just pick up the ball. Get back to normal without fear. This is hormonal, organic cheer. Just clear the fog. Oh, say, can you see? Unblock the cog of the pharmacy that insists to spit upon the world, so gritty and sick to flags unfurled. Everyone heard the truth out loud on the 23rd with a huge crowd. Fauci Doc advice is a false flag trick, like lab rats and mice. We're all getting sick. They're killing us off. It's been planned long ago. Please don't laugh and scoff. Read the Georgia Guidestones or Rockefeller's playbook. See Bill Gates' TED Talk. Come on, fellas, take a look. Don't wait, doubt, or balk. It's all crystal clear. We're the culprits of this COVID fear with all its secrets. A demonic cabal making money. Perverts having a ball. Have you running. Chasing your tail in constant fear. Hammer the nail for booster cheer. Defeat the mandates. Easy. 1, 2, 3. Stand up. Be great. It's up to you and me. When doorman asks for your vax pass, then it's your task to show some class. Say, no thanks, I'm not sick. No more pranks, stop this shit. This is a fight. Get black and blue. Don't say all right. say, fuck you. Defend our rights as a sovereign being. Animals fight when attacked by something. We're not dumb slaves to some master that must obey, a cruel bastard who claims royal blood and inject your body with some strange blue flood to use the porta potty? Or buy a meal inside some bar? It's a bad deal. Nah, it's gone too far. Forget about it. I'm taking a stand. No need to doubt it. Time to be a man. Another soldier in the army of peace. I feel much nobler to just God bless your sneeze. Relaxed in faith, without fear of germs. I know someday I'll just be worms. It's ashes to ashes and dust to dust. And until my life crashes, it's in God we trust. Thank you.
Thank you again, Frank Craven. Thank you, everybody, for participating. Our next piece, I'm going to be in it. I'm going to start out reading. I'm going to be reading an excerpt from a very wonderful movie by the name of My Dinner with Andre. It's a 1981 American comedy drama film directed by Louis Malle. The people who are going to be in this performance, which is in a couple of different segments, I'll be reading at the beginning, and then Yasuyo Tanaka, who conceived this piece and this whole collection of performances, is going to be performing the rest of the piece with Isabel Sheehan and Regina Corpus. And Regina will be reading some texts from the children in one of her classes at Manhattanville Community Center on about
133rd Street between Broadway and Amsterdam.
133rd between Broadway and Amsterdam. Yes, so she'll be reading some of the things that they have said. Okay, I think there's a little bit of preparation going on here. Should I be starting or not? Not yet, I'm not starting yet. So I'm also, I think towards the end, I'm going to be playing the toy piano over there. And I don't know, it's hidden behind there, but you'll see that and hear that soon. And depending on how things go, we might also hear some music that I've written. And then there's going to be dance after that. And also anybody that brought an instrument or their voice is invited to participate in some sort of performance that's coming up. I don't really know how it's being run. Yasuyo will explain that later. I think we're getting pretty close to being set up. There's a lot of props that Yasuyo, this is Yasuyo in the center. Yeah, thank you, Yasuyo. And it was a little extra tricky because of the rain. I think we're almost ready now. A few of you I recognize, and I'm thrilled that you came. And a lot of you I don't recognize, although I've seen you here for an hour or two or three now. And again, I thank you and the sun for making this all possible. We're getting real close now. And this movie that I'm going to be speaking a short text of is it's priceless, and it's considered a very important movie from the early 80s. It's easy to rent it. You can see excerpts of it online. My Dinner with Andre is a 1981 American comedy drama film directed by Louis Malle. It was written by and starred Andre Gregory, playing Andre, and Wallace Shawn, playing Wally. The actors play fictionalized versions of themselves, sharing a conversation at the famous Café des Artistes art restaurant in Manhattan. The film's dialogue covers topics such as experimental theater, the nature of theater, and the nature of life. It contrasts Wally's modest humanism with Andre's spiritual experiences. Andre says, "And when I was at Findhorn, I met this extraordinary English tree expert who had devoted himself to saving trees. He just got back from Washington, lobbying to save the redwoods. He was 84 years old, and he always travels with a backpack because he never knows where he's going to be tomorrow. And when I met him at Findhorn, he said to me, 'Where are you from?' And I said, 'New York.' And he said, 'Ah, New York. Yes, that's a very interesting place. Do you know a lot of New Yorkers who keep talking about the fact that they want to leave, but never do?' And I said, 'Oh, yes.' And he said, 'Why do you think they don't leave?' And I gave him different banal theories. And he said, 'Oh, I don't think it's that way at all.' He said, 'I think that New York is the new model for the new concentration camp, where the camp has been built by the inmates themselves. And the inmates are the guards. And they have this pride in this thing that they've built. They've built their own prison. And so they exist in a state of schizophrenia, where they are both guards and prisoners. And as a result, they no longer have, having been lobotomized, the capacity to leave the prison they've made, or even to see it as a prison.' And then he went into his pocket, and he took out a seed for a tree. And he said, 'This is a pine tree.' And he put it in my hand. And he said, 'Escape before it is too late.' And oh,
My name is Isabel Sheehan. I am an actor. I was born and raised here in New York City all my life. And the following piece is a piece I wrote. I'm not a writer, but this is an interesting experience for me. But it's what freedom is to me. And then it'll be followed by a piece by Yusuyo. And I'm so lucky to get the chance to read and perform her work. So I'll start with my piece first. I think
hello? Yes.
And just anybody, if you can't hear me, please let me know. On the train home on Thursday, I noticed a woman with a book titled Freedom, written by an author I had never heard the name of. It was not the first time, nor will it be the last, that I've encountered a book that is determined to educate its reader on the many morals, philosophies, and geopolitical structures that shape our definition of word that carry such a complex history. So what is freedom? It is a difficult question to answer. Some say that defining it has been made even more challenging in times such as these especially. Amidst a global pandemic and as wars rage across the ocean, the past repeating itself as it has done for millennia. Understanding, defining, and enacting freedom has always been a thorny path, one that is never linear, in constant metamorphosis against the landscape of all our eras, breathing through our epochs, molded to the will of others, used as a weapon, proclaimed as a cause. Human beings have fought bloody wars and will continue to fight such wars in the name of freedom. Freedom stands alongside prejudice, violence, and battles against the physical and spiritual bodies of those who others have sought determined to control. From our infancy, our families, culture, and school imbue in us what freedom is. I would like to point out that I, at age 22, and a recent graduate of a liberal arts college, will of course have an entirely different perspective of how I experience freedom. Constantly reminding myself to remain acutely aware of how the privileges of my appearance and access to resources that others lack due to systemized prejudice within the foundations of the United States shape the passage of my body in everyday life. But freedom to me is more than simply the freedoms taught ever so patriotically within my formative years in a New York public school. Freedom is partly corporeal. It is the ability to use my body how I see fit, to scream, to cry, to laugh, to speak my mind. Freedom is the euphoria of the scent of the change of seasons on the wind, the crisp leaves of autumn, the soft bite of winter, the rain of spring, the hot metals of buildings in the burning summer. Freedom is racing your friends down Luddown Street at 2 a.m. Freedom is swimming in the ocean or a river, floating weightless in water, flying in a dream. There is a certain association in our society, it seems, with freedom and nature. The two seem inextricably linked, exposing an awareness to the suffocating constant layering of the constraints of modern society that become all the more claustrophobic with increasingly complex technologies. Nature returns us to the virtue of simply being, listening to the world around us, learning the beauty of the songs of the trees being brushed by wind, the symphonies of crickets and cicadas, the soft whispers of a mourning dove ushering in dawn. It is a return to our baseline of existence, stripped of the code of modern life. But freedom is also the joy of everyday life. Freedom is listening to your new favorite song over and over again until you hate it and find a new one, and then also listen to that one over and over again until you hate that one too. It is dancing in your room when no one's watching, and dancing badly when everybody's watching. It is telling someone those 3 words and accepting you might regret it afterward. Whether the middle word is hate or love, the possibility that it might change everything is excruciating. I find it interesting that as I write this, that freedom to me, freedom and happiness are the same, a symbiotic organism nurturing the soul. Freedom is living true to yourself, whatever that might be, allowing yourself to constantly unfold, unbounded by society's cans, won'ts, and even wills. For the remainder of my life, my perception of freedom will shift. That is undeniable. It has shifted, as it shifted for so many people with the pandemic. As I listen to the changes within myself and the changes that ripple across the world, I can only hope that we will seek to listen with open ears, eyes, and hearts to the stories of others. As to achieve this freedom, we must be willing to listen to the metamorphosis of its power across time and space. Thank you.
Very good.
And now the roving of Isabel Sheehan. And now she's going to read something that Yasuyo wrote. And what Yasuyo wrote is about Yasuyo's experience recently and throughout her life with her father. Yasuyo's father died in December 19th, 2021, just a few months ago.
Maybe against the statue.
Around this time last year, I was infected with COVID-19. I had no underlying pre-existing illness. Luckily, I didn't need any special treatment. I got better on my own, at home, with no medicine. But it took time to recover. After waking from a long sleep, the first place I visited was Morningside Park. I saw the Statue of Liberty laying down. It was reminiscent of the Buddha's Nirvana pose. I met Zaq Landsberg, who created this sculpture, titled Reclining Liberty. He was setting things up. Its appearance seemed to reflect the current situation in New York and the things going on in my mind. A year later, I look back on the days I spent at Reclining Liberty and trace what happened and what I learned from it. The Fukushima nuclear disaster began on March 11th, 2011. The COVID-19 pandemic also began on March 11th. Disasters threaten our health and deprive us of our freedoms. 27 years ago, I moved from Japan to New York, alone, in search of freedom. I experienced the September 11th attack in New York City and witnessed the loss of peaceful daily life. It was an event that made me realize that I was living in a very fragile reality. I returned to Japan once a year after my father was diagnosed with dementia. However, the COVID-19 pandemic made visiting Japan difficult. I was talking with my parents on video calls, but my father's hallucinations were getting worse. My mother was seriously fatigued from her round-the-clock care for him. During the lockdown, I began folding paper cranes in consideration of people suffering from illness, including my parents. Origami, which is known to all Japanese people, has become a communication tool for people, including parents and children. It has long been taught through one-on-one hands-on demonstrations. Origami cranes have become a worldwide peace symbol after the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. When something difficult happens that I can't control, my hands move instinctually and naturally to fold paper cranes. During the pandemic, I started walking in Morningside Park. Nature has healed me and taught me many things. The colder the winter, the more vital the spring, and the more dramatic the return of the new buds. I lay down on the green-covered land and felt connected to my parents and friends who are beyond the sky. I saw dead leaves, dead squirrels, dead birds, and dead rats. I noticed that they became part of the soil. While strolling through the park, I connected with nature. I thought about my life. By overlaying the cycles of life over the changing landscape of the four seasons. In nature, where life and death intersect, the Statue of Liberty lays with her eyes closed. Immediately after Reclining Liberty began living in Morningside Park, my father was hospitalized. His condition deteriorated rapidly, partly because of COVID-19 rules, which rarely allowed family visits. Living in another country, I could only pray for the end of COVID-19 and the recovery of my father's health. I dyed Japanese paper, folded origami paper flowers, and collected them to make a medicine ball. In Japanese, it's called a kusadama. My desire to share the experience of healing via origami came true. I held medicine ball workshops last summer. At these workshops, I met people who were as sick as my father, who were going to be operated on, and many who were worried about the COVID-19 pandemic. These participants and I were healed by connecting over our common wishes for health, peace, and freedom. After 7 months of fighting many illnesses, my father died on December 19th, 2021. My last conversation with my father was on the morning he was hospitalized, the last day he spent at home. My father looked strong, was calm, and was full of words of love that showed his care for his family. He didn't seem to have dementia. I'll never forget the overwhelming feelings I had as my father spoke his last words to me. Remember me. During the 12 years my father suffered from dementia, my family learned a lot from him. I had conflicts with my father because we had different values and ideas for our lives. I moved to New York City to live freely in my own way. I survived in New York without relying on my parents. I showed my father I was free and responsible. In 2010, I held my first solo expedition in Japan entitled Transformation, Question to Myself. My relationship with my father improved gradually when my father came to see my artworks. I returned to Japan every year until 2019. The days I spent with my father helped us heal each other and smooth out our differences. Parents tend to expect children to do what parents think is good. Due to differences between generations and individual values, one person's happiness may not be another person's happiness. Parents and children are unique persons with different constitutions and personalities. During my relationship with my father, we noticed our love was greater than our differences. In these unstable and unchanging times, through mutual understanding with my father, I have been empowered to restore peace and balance in my heart and to believe in a sustainable future. My father, who continues to inspire me, was a mentor throughout my entire life. Now, I'm at a turning point. I had a lot of experiences since I was born, as a child of my mother and father. These experiences became points, and I have aimed to connect the points to make lines, connect the lines to make a surface, and connect the surfaces to make a solid. This shape is beginning to appear. I can think of a kusadama, made in collaboration with workshop participants. Each participant made unique origami flowers out of Japanese paper, dyed in various colors and patterns. The origami flowers are tied together in the center, accepting each other's differences, and they bloom into big flowers. It's a Kusadama sphere. It may represent the globe of our earth. Looking at Reclining Liberty, who falls asleep, surrounded by Morningside Park's nature, I think of my father, who died with tears and a smile, freed from the fear of death and his attachments to this world. My father and I were freed from long-standing conflicts and found love for each other. I remember the message, freedom, not controlled by anything, that I wrote for my junior high school graduation ceremony. I arrived in New York in search of freedom. I realized I was under the control of my own thoughts. It was myself who was hindering my freedom. Wake up.
Hi, my name is Regina Corpus. I work at the Grand Wyndham Cornerstone, Manhattanville Cornerstone After School Center on 133rd Street between Broadway and Amsterdam. I've been working in this very community for over 30 years, helping the children of this community strive to gain knowledge through Yasuyo, who I met 5 years ago. She has brought our community her art, her wisdom, and the truth. And I am very privileged to have worked with you and to continue to work with you. And I have to say that the piece that you acted out really made me shed tears. So, thank you. Reminded me of my father a lot. So anyway, I don't need the microphone. I have a really big mouth. I don't need that. Yeah, well, that's one of the trades of being a teacher. Yasuyo knows. So we brought the children here, we took pictures, and we've been talking to my children who are about 8, 9 years old about what they feel freedom is and what freedom means to them. And what maybe the artist was trying to tell people when he constructed this statue. So one of my children, Ashley Chavez, said, the woman or man who made the Statue of Liberty, maybe they made it for freedom to feel like people can now do what they want to do. Oh, this tape won't stick on anything. The statue, this is by another student called Tyreek Williams. Statue of Liberty is lazy because she feels it's not safe because our liberties are being taken away. We asked them what they thought, they told us. This one is by Amari Crookendale. Freedom is something that you get to do whenever you want to. And I think freedom is something that is cool. You get to go out, do whatever you want, and you must keep doing anything that keeps you cool. This one is by Vaughn Rivers. What makes me free is to go out and I get to play on my phone. I get to go to school and play with my brothers. And he has a lot of brothers. Marielis Melendez wrote a list of things that help her feel free. I feel free because I can run around the park and my house. I can go to the store. I can go to school. I can go to a restaurant. Freedom, and then she wrote, freedom means the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. We do have some freedoms of choice. Amelia Alexander wrote, my freedom. When I think of freedom, I think about when COVID first started and I had to stay home. When I think of what I think about now, my freedom was taken away. But now I can go outside, and when I want to go to school, I can. And now I have my freedom back.
Yo!
Corday wrote, what took my freedom was COVID-19. Freedom to me is good because you get everything you want. Davon Rivers, one of the brothers of the other rivers, there's lots of rivers, wrote, freedom is fun because I get to do what I want when I want to do it. Edison wrote, when I think of freedom, I think about my mom. I use my telephone and I use it every day. But every day I do something bad or at school. So I lose one day of my freedom for every day I do something bad.
We're gonna have a skipping contest. I lost.
Oh, those are my kids, by the way. Okay. Brian wrote, I feel free because I can run around the house and I can play. And I can use my phone and I can go places such as Legoland. And sometimes I go out with my family and with my cousin Mary Ellis, who wrote the list. And this is from a student that I'm extremely proud of. He doesn't really read or write yet, but he was able to write down this sentence. I want to have a break. I want my freedom. And last but not least, I have a child named King Julius. Yes, his name is King Julius. His mother's name is Milady, and his little sister's name is Majesty. Freedom to me is what I am able to do when I want to do it, and nobody is judging me for my decision. Thank you.
Now I'm going to play on this wonderful toy piano, and you see, okay. So I'm going to play a few minutes on this toy piano, and there's two tunes that I'm going to play. One is by a Japanese composer named Rentaro Taki called Moon Over the Ruined Castle, or Kojo no Tsuki. It's a very famous song from about 1902, so 120 years old or something like that. And I've taken that piece and I've turned it into a piece for wind quintet. And you might hear that if we have enough time. I might play it through my phone. It is played by a group called the Eastern Winds. And then as soon as I'm done playing on here, just for a few minutes, then Matt, my very good friend Matt Dubois, is going to play on his guitar, I believe, some sort of a stringed instrument there. And after that, we have a dance performance and group performance of some sort. That is not to be, it hasn't been determined yet what that will be like, but that's what life is about. We make it up as we go along. Okay, I'm going to bring this over. Oh, and the first song that the first thing that I'm going to play, and it's going to go into that piece. The people. First piece is called "The People United Will Never Be Defeated," and it's a tune. I think it's Chilean, somewhere in South America. Very famous song in revolutionary world events. And then I'll sort of meld that into the Kojanotski moon over the ruined castle. Now, thank you very much. Sorry I didn't play that better, but now Matt is going to play something of his own choosing. He hasn't told me what it is. That's all right. He's going to play something wonderful. Matt.
All of you guys are amazing.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. So, Matt and I met many years ago. Yes, you can sit there. That's a perfect place to be. And actually, I'll hold this wonderful mic.
Yeah, I know.
Casio. And we will hear what Matt has. What kind of an instrument is this, Matt? What kind of instrument? Perhaps this is a lute, he says. And
He said, guys, there was a boy over there.
Thank you very much, Matt. Matt is a multi-instrumentalist. He plays piano, guitar, lute, all kinds of percussion, and bass guitar, absolutely.
I'm not sure. I think it's a lute. I bought it at Guitar Center. I bought it at Guitar Center.
Okay, and now we have our next performer is the dancer, and I'm going to come up with her name in a second. Yukari Osaka. Yukari Osaka. Last name spelled like what us Americans would say, Osaka, O-S-A-K-A. And she's getting ready to perform, and momentarily she'll be ready. And what else? She's going to perform on the rock. So all of you wonderful people who have been keeping the rock warm. Oh, no, stay there, stay. So she's apparently not going to. I think there's been a change of plan. This is all developing. You're here seeing this history live. Or maybe we should call it Herstory and History. Herstory in honor of our new Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Jackson Brown. Did I get the name right? Yes. No, I messed it. Yeah, that's a musician.
Yeah, that's
hyphenated last name Jackson, Ketanji Jackson. Okay, so hello, Cynthia. Cynthia did a lot of the advertising for this, and Cynthia is next to her daughter Isabel, who performed it. Oh, and there's Paul, her father. Wonderful people, as are all of you. Okay, we're getting very close to the performance, the next one. And, you know, even though the event will be over today, soon, you know, maybe, we don't really know when, because we're going to do some improvisation at the end. Make sure to check out the Isabel's thing. Yes. Yes. Yeah, well, maybe. And what about Isabel's piece down there? Okay, there's also down there behind you, there's a big white thing. Isabel Varela has a wonderful piece. She's waving at us. She has art in the form of clothing that has been repurposed, etc. She's very knowledgeable about fabric and fashion and all kinds of things, and she has a bunch of fascinating stories to tell. But check out her display on the other side of that white thing there. There's an amazing globe shape of clothing. I think we're very close. Are you ready? Okay, so momentarily we're going to start now. And it's great that people are moving around here. Is that going to be an issue? Do you need the area secured? Okay, so, and you don't need it. Okay, so I believe we're going to start probably in the next 30 seconds or a minute, okay? Get your position, be happy.
Good to see you.
Alo, anh giấu rồi. Thôi em đi.
Sun shower.
Maybe this is the last one. Maybe we should ask
Isabella.
Isabella, yeah.
Isabella Varela.
Yeah.
Right, is she going to be saying something about her comments?
Yeah.
Does she want to be invited? Do you want to get her? Should I get her?
Yeah, I get water wherever I want. Just fill it up.
Okay, is there anyone here who would like to perform?
Or something like talk about the
Does anybody want to speak
anyways.
or perform something? music, dance, anything. Do you want to perform something?
Oh, we just have something to say.
Oh, please.
Okay,
yes,
please,
great.
please.
Okay, we have a microphone here for you momentarily. Take your time. We'll find out soon. Hello? I don't think that's on.
Turn it on.
Okay.
No, not yet.
Just a moment. Oh yeah, there's a lot of fancy stuff here. Well, I'll speak loud for a moment. So these fine gentlemen would like to speak. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Will we get this? Hang on one second. Can you everybody, well, yes. So, if anybody would like to be on a list, we're going to make a list of, what do you want, emails and or phone numbers for text or email? Just make it clear, so for future type events. Okay, this is live. Take it away.
All right. My name's Keanu, and
I'm Ojan.
we just showed up here, and I just want to share. It was offered to us that we could talk about anything, so figured we could talk about our sign. Ojan and I recently just moved to New York, and we started doing listening pop-ups. It's called Here to Listen. So we just understand that there's a lot that we don't understand, and we want to give people the opportunity to speak about their truth and whatever they want to speak about with us, and we just listen. And we've just been doing that all around New York. And so now we're letting you know right here. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
No, I think Keanu covered it. If you have anything you want to share, we'll be around the park today. No advice being given, just listening and receiving on this beautiful spring day that might rain, might not.
Park Anonymous.
California.
They came from California. And where in California?
Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz, which is an amazing place. I've never been there, but I've heard so much amazing stuff there. Lots of environmental protection stuff there. Some amazing things that I've found out about through Instagram. Do you know the name of that person? It's a man and a woman, two different people who are doing amazing things to advertise all the amazing things that are being done to help the environment. Just unbelievable things. Look on Instagram, Santa Cruz, I forget the name, but two different people have posts all the time about amazing things. And there's ways that you can help them if you want. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
So you're from California?
Yes.
Why'd you come here?
To be with the people.
No, I just want to know. I mean, the weather's so much better out there.
We followed our guts. We're both from Santa Cruz, and we had a conversation. It was purely intuition. That's it. Period.
Woo! New York needs the help.
Yeah.
We need New York.
I guess I'll share one other thing. Like, Ojan and I are really into showing up in public and being out like on the streets, and we envision that this can be larger at any point in time if people are interested in doing this. We're also drawn to simplicity, and that's why we like the concept of just listening to people. So if other people are interested in listening with us, let us know, and then you can listen with us. We can listen together. All right.
Make sure you leave your information with Yasuyo.
Okay, sounds good. Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, so Yasuyo, Isabella Varela.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yes, you have a wonderful display down there. Do you want to talk about that and yourself?
Yeah, thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Isabel Varela. So a little bit about the artwork and then I'll go into my story. So the artwork down there, it's actually on a clothing rack. It's a huge globe. It's very colorful. But there's a really deep story, and it's a story about healing and transformation. So I was a shopaholic, and I was $100,000 in debt, and it took me 7 years to get out of debt. So I actually now transform my life. I'm now a motivational speaker. I speak around the U.S. I also have a documentary on YouTube called Fashion Addict, where it's a 12-minute short explaining everything that I went through, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and everything all the way to what I do now. And I also do sustainable live art activations. And what that means is I like to actually engage with the community to get you also involved. And so with this globe, it's a globe for a reason because it represents the absurd amount of waste, textile waste, plastic pollution that is drowning us. However, there's always a positive with every negative. So the positive is the reason they're cut into squares is to represent every single human in this globe, in this whole world, can actually make a difference. And I highly believe and will always believe that every single person with even one action can make a difference in the world. And so the work that I do now is I'm a life coach, I'm a sustainable artist and a speaker, and I do two things. As a life coach, I teach and empower women to beat shopping addiction by growing more self-love and to live more sustainably. And as a sustainable artist and speaker, my teachings are expressed through that work to engage and empower others to do that work with themselves, because I believe everyone can make a difference and change their life and overcome adversity. But if you want to go down there, you can also be part of the artwork. And then if you guys are open, I take some pictures and post it on my stories because it encourages others that they too can do something. So thank you. And thank you for joining today.
If somebody wants to talk or perform or something, and we want to interact with the participants, so yeah. Do you have somebody you want to raise a hand?
Anything.
Anything.
Can I talk for 2 seconds?
Yeah, please.
I don't know if I have like a whole speech, but
Now I get to record.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Very closely. Okay. You know, it's interesting, talking about like healing and, just trying to help ourselves and everything like that. I guess like, as somebody who's like gone through all sorts of stuff and just like, reached this nice, great point, where I'm just like, working with Isabel and everything like that. A lot of the stuff that I've learned is that, before you can go out of your way to help people, you really have to heal the pain that's within you first, and like I say, like, you can't be a lifeboat for other people if you got a bunch of holes in the middle that need fixing first, and that's something I struggled with for years. I just went out of my way to just like, just do everything, I could for everybody, but at the same time, I was getting burned out, you know what I mean, and not addressing any of my own issues, and, it's an ongoing thing. I'm not saying, you have to be selfish or you have to be this or like, only look out for yourself, but like, before you just, you know what I mean, like make yourself somebody's doormat, like think for 1 second, man, like, just like, what have I done for myself today, you know what I mean, like, have I even given myself like, just a quick minute, to just chill out, recollect my thoughts, and I guess that's what I wanted to share. I'm sorry if I just kind of rambled a bit, I mean, everything's so eloquent in my head, but then I get up here and I'm like, oh God, okay. But anyways, thank you.
I like your lifeboat.
Yeah. Metaphors, come on, metaphors.
Thank you, Matt.
We're gonna have some improvisation, some voice.
Closer.
Yeah. Bill.
Thank you so much for coming. Okay, does anybody want to make some collective sound together? If you have your voice and you have an instrument, can you bring the toy piano up? You see, someone will play the toy piano. Okay, the concerto soloist on the toy piano will be whoever comes to it first. And more than one person can play it at a time, and people can play it for a minute, and then somebody else can play. And if you have a harmonica or anything else, you're welcome to play along. And if you want to play on a piece of wood, you're welcome to do that, and it may or may not be amplified. And let's see.
It's amplified.
So momentarily we're going to start making some music or sounds together. You can use your voice. And maybe, okay, so I'm going to actually start it off just real quickly just to get the ball rolling. I'm going to sing something for a few seconds from a piece that I wrote called The Black Angel, and then anybody can join in or play after that or sing after that. This will just be about 1 minute. They're the past of what was always future. They speak in tongues silently about nothing. They are like old streetcars buried at sea in the wrong element with no place to go. I will not meet her eye, although I shall, but here is a butterfly and a white flower rising on my face. This is the presence of things present, where like closing sweetly. And there is nothing That's a 3-minute piece which I did not prepare at all, and it's called The Black Angel. It's by a poet named Henry Collette from California in Los Angeles. He taught at Cal State, LA, and now, who else would like the mic or would like to play? This is your big chance. And now we're going to hear from Apollo, as in like Apollo? Wow. Wow. This is going to be great. Yay! Sanae, do you want to play?
No.
Anybody else would like to play?
Where to put the empty bottles?
What's that?
Where to put the empties?
You can throw it to me. I'll give her. Okay, here we go.
A female deer.
Everybody have voice, right?
Improvisation. Yeah, contact improvisation.
Okay,
There is a sculptor who did this sculpture, and he's here, but he's not necessarily wanting. He's being a little shy.
Yeah.
Would you like to?
But you want to take a picture with that?
Well, let's just put it this way. If anybody wants to speak to the person who made this, he's here, and it's probably pretty easy to figure out who he is. But he does not want to make a formal speech.
I think we want to take pictures.
Yeah, take pictures. And tell your friends about it. And
His statue is like a
22nd. the tree down here. They're all put there with people's writings for what they want in the world, such as peace and freedom. And take